All right, let's go back and show you what happened with Jeremy Lin tonight. Kelly, what kind of things did you see about his game as we continue to learn about it?
You know, continues to be aggressive, continues to try to get the ball in the middle and find, his teammates, and that's important. Jeremy's still fearless at going to the basket. Got a little banged up tonight at times as well. But, again, you can sense him trying to get everybody involved, trying to be, the point guard out there that's going to get other players involved. And as long as he continues to think that way, continue to remain under control for the most part, that's a positive for the Knicks. They got a little bit of a running game going as well. That always helps. And certainly, with as many players that played tonight for the Knicks, the more he can get used to all those guys because you never know who's going to be in the game with you.
Took a little shot there from Tyson Chandler's elbow, but he was able to finish the game, even though it looked as though it was bothering him a few minutes after that. But he's very tough, we know that. And in tonight's game, Jeremy Lin had 17 points, 9 assists.
There was a Tebow there, wasn't it? When he went down on the 1 knee, or no? Was
Almost.
that not a Tebow? No, but he's showing definitely toughness, obviously. But, Kelly, the thing that impresses me the most about Jeremy Lin is the fact that he can take it to the hole. He can take a hit and finish, a lot like Carmelo can. They're very similar in that regard when they go to the basket. But, didn't take a lot of shots, as we've been seeing during their run when they were winning games. He was taking a lot of shots, but now he doesn't have to. Gets the assists, and I think that's big.
Only 4 turnovers.
Only the 4 turnovers is good, too. Of course, taking care of the ball. But, getting more cohesiveness with his teammates will cut down the turnovers as well.
Knicks got off to a little bit of a sloppy start. They muffed a couple of inbounds passes. The Garden was getting a little grouchy because it really looked like Atlanta didn't want to be in this game, and yet the Knicks were sort of allowing them to be in the game. And then they got their act together to go on a 16-0 run, leading you to a point where you could say they almost won the game in the first quarter.
They did win the game in the first quarter. Believe it or not, the Atlanta Hawks were winning this game 16-14, and all of a sudden it was just all New York the rest of the quarter and really getting everybody involved. Carmelo Anthony staying with it, a couple of misses, gets a rebound, improves his stats there, and gets the layups. And then the Atlanta turnovers caused by the Knicks defense really started things going. And, from there on in, it was just a matter of taking it at Atlanta. No shot blockers, no interior defense. They just kept going at them. And Atlanta really never had any answers. And then they were just sloppy with the basketball, almost high schoolish type of turnovers, Alan.
I think what changed this game was similar to what changed the game against the Nets, but in reverse. J.R. Smith and Jared Jeffries came in with the Knicks trailing by 2. They brought in great energy, especially J.R. Smith. He had 3 of the team's, 6 or 7 steals in that quarter. Mm-hmm. So he was a big part of that. It was positive energy coming off the bench, unlike in the Nets game where the Knicks got off to a good start. Bench came in and didn't give them the energy. They got it in this game and really blew the game open right there.
One of the things that got your attention in the second quarter was the balance the Knicks had. We're going to see baskets from 7 different Knicks in one sequence in the second quarter.
Yeah, Nick bench came in, as Alan said before, even in the first quarter, but the second quarter they continued because, again, that lead was so much that now Coach D'Antoni starts playing some other guys. Nice job on the alley-oop there to J.R. Smith. Transition. When you look at the numbers at halftime, Landry Fields, he had 13 points. Jeremy Lin, he had 13 points. Chandler had 7 points. Melo had 5 points, 6 points. Amari had 5 points. Off the bench, J.R. Smith had 8. Novak had 5. So everybody was getting an opportunity. In fact, with about 2 minutes left in the first half, there wasn't one Knicks score in double figures. And then all of a sudden, Lin and Fields both added a couple of buckets the last 2 or 3 minutes of the first half to get them in double figures. So nice balance by the Knicks.
The halftime score was 60-35. If you're the Knicks, you have to figure, at least in a normal NBA game, that a team is going to come. Well, the Knicks offense went totally south, and Atlanta did get it down to 13 points.
Well, it literally went south. Maybe their minds went to Miami at halftime. I mean, that's pretty much what happened. But you knew the Hawks were going to come out, Kelly. I think we're going to give you some effort because that was an embarrassing first half for them. Jerry Stackhouse comes in. It was a good move by Larry Drew. He brought in some energy, knocked down a couple of 3 balls, and that was a big thing. And Jeff Teague finally got it going, got his speed going as well. But, the Knicks looked like they kind of were settling in, hoping this game would end. Dick Bavetta blew a couple of whistles to slow the game down. 4 whistles, in fact, a couple of 3-second violations in a 30-point game, and
this game was
the Knicks wanted this game. Let's let the clock run.
It went too long,
but the
for
Hawks,
all of us.
But to the credit of the Hawks, they did not mail this one in. They did make it a game. but they didn't in the first half, and that's where it cost them.
You got to have some pride, no matter what you are. I mean, nobody likes to get embarrassed. They were embarrassed for the most part. It could have been worse.
And this was a team that got off to a great start, but they are struggling now.
Well, they're missing 2 all-star players. That makes a big difference. Without Horford and without Joe Johnson, they just don't have any presence out there on the floor to take over, even inside or outside. They don't have the score.
And I was somebody that thought Josh Smith should have gotten an all-star consideration even before Joe Johnson, and now that Joe Johnson's not going to play an all-star, I thought maybe he should have gotten it.
Not tonight.
I'm wrong because he did not play like an all-star tonight.
Meanwhile, the Knicks, after the Hawks got it to 13, called a timeout, and boom, just like that, it was back up to 20. So fourth quarter became garbage time. But important minutes for Baron Davis. What did you think of the Baron Davis we saw?
Well, another game under his belt, improvement. That's what you got to have. And Baron Davis starting to get used to playing basketball once again. As long as he can keep it simple. Yeah, there were some crazy turnovers, some bad passes, but there are also some good passes. I think the fact that he looks much better, he's getting more comfortable, these are all signs that he's getting used to playing basketball once again. I would assume it's going to help him long term.
How about Jared costing him that assist right there? That could have been 7. When you're a backup point guard, everyone counts.
He'll let him know about it. He should anyhow.
Let's check out the stat sheet from the game. Obviously very one-sided, tilted toward the Knicks, who shot 48% to only 40 for Atlanta. The Knicks made the same number of threes as Atlanta, so that was not the big difference as it was on Monday night. They out-rebounded the Hawks, they out-assisted the Hawks, and they got 37 points off their bench.